Hello and welcome along to another lesson with Mr. Burns. We are going to be working with the volume of a cone formula, which is a third pi r squared h, and we're going to be using the calculator. Okay, so we've got a cone here with radius of 5 centimeters. Okay, we're going to substitute that in using our brackets and substituting in the value of the height of our cone, which is 60. Okay. Now, because this is calculator, right, we can go straight to the calculator at this point. We're going to use the fraction button. I'm going to insert the 1 and the 3 for the fraction button. I'm going to use the cursor to go right. We're going to use the pi button. Okay, so you're pressing your shift and your times 10 to the x button. We're going to put our brackets round, so this is going to replicate exactly how you write it. The answer you get on the calculator will be 500 pi. Now this is the exact value, okay? Right, now you're going to press the symbol to decimal button, and what you need to do, what a requirement for you, is to write down the unrounded answer. Okay, so write as many digits, and if you don't want to write them all down, you can do some dots, but just copy it down correctly. Okay, so that's known as the unrounded answer. Now in the question it might specify what you're required to round it to, whether it be decimal places or significant figures. Let's say it was to ask you to round it to 3 significant figures. Okay, and not forgetting your units, so your cubic centimetres, not centimetres cubed. So we've got first significant figure there in the thousands, second significant figure in the hundreds, third significant figure in the tens column. Okay, so we're rounding this to 3 significant figures. Okay. Now the next one that we're going to work through is going to ask you to calculate the radius given the volume. Right, so the height in this case is 15 centimetres. The radius we don't know, but the volume will be given in millilitres. Okay, so the formula remains a third pi r squared h. Okay, now what we're going to do, right, we're going to change the subject of the formula, okay, to decrease the margin of error in inputting values at this stage, when like third and pi, when that's already a large number. Even if you were third and 3.14, you're still going to get decimals, so we're going to change the subject of the formula. Oh, got to have a caramel wafer at times. So changing the subject, we've got a fraction there. Let's get rid of the fraction by multiplying through by the denominator. It's a unitary fraction, so multiplying through by 3. And then we're going to divide by anything that's multiplying r squared. Okay, so we're dividing by pi and h. It's going to leave us with r squared. So 3v dividing by pi h. Okay, so the radius, the inverse operation of squaring is square rooting, and there you have it. So okay, so at this point we're going to substitute in. Okay, so it's 3 multiplying the volume. Now the volume is 392.5 millilitres. Okay, the units in the question are centimetres, and you should know that 1 millilitre is the same as 1 cubic centimetre. Okay, so back to our substitution. 3 multiplying 392.5 dividing by, now you can either use the pi button here, or you might choose to use 3.14. Okay, I'll show you both ways. If we use the 3.14 in this case, substituting into the calculator, okay, square root button first, fraction button next, numerator 3 times 392.5, okay, exactly the same, 3.14 multiplying 15, okay, the height, equals 5. Now 5 centimetres, nothing to round there. Okay, now if you use the pi button, okay, which you might just choose to use the pi button all the time. I know I certainly would. So you can go back to your calculator, delete the 3.14, the DEL button, press your shift, your times 10 to the x button, which will put that symbol for pi in, equals, and you can see that that is really much the same. Okay, so if you use the pi button, you would have to then round it, and you would be rounding it appropriately. Okay, so if that question asks you anything other than a whole number answer, then you would have to make sure you're rounding that correctly.